Are you getting off on the wrong floor? Let me explain. Now, before we jump in, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Carson. I started this channel as a way to tell you the lessons I'm learning along the way, the mistakes I'm making, and the things that I'm going through, hopefully to make sure that you don't go through those same mistakes and can learn from me to become your best self just a little bit faster. So let's say that you live in an apartment complex. You walk in your building and you jump in the elevator to go up to your room. You press your floor button and you jump on your phone, scrolling social media just as you wait to go up to your floor. As you're sitting there on your phone, the elevator dings and the doors open, and you walk out still scrolling social media. You go to an apartment that you think is yours. It's exactly the location yours is, and you open the door. You walk in and you look up. The apartment looks like yours, but you can very quickly tell that it's not yours. It's a little bit dirtier than your apartment. The furniture isn't as nice, and it's just not you. Things are out of place, things aren't familiar, and you just have a little bit of discomfort. You know it's not your room. Your apartment is a few more floors up. You accidentally got off the elevator a little bit early. In your apartment, everything is clean. You have all the furniture you want. You know where everything's at. You have your food, you have your bed, you have your comfort. It's your space. These two rooms symbolize the best version of yourself, or the higher version of yourself, and the lower version of yourself. That first apartment you walked into represents the lower version of yourself. The version of you who isn't as disciplined, who falls into their temptation, falls into comfort, doesn't do the things that they know is best for your future. Your apartment in this scenario is the best version of yourself. This is the version of you who is consistent. This is the version of you who does things when you say you're going to, who does things regardless of how crappy they feel, who does the hard work, who lives the life that they want to live. A lot of people get caught up in this lower apartment. But here's the truth. You can leave at any moment. You can walk out of that first apartment, that apartment that you know isn't yours. Get back in the elevator and go right up to your apartment. But you don't. Because you get in there and you start to convince yourself that where you're at is fine. This is your place now. You can make it work. You start to develop comfort in this lower area, in this other apartment that isn't yours. And that is you getting comfortable with being your lower self. You have the ability to leave and go to the apartment that suits you best. That's your dream apartment. But you don't. Because you don't step out of that room and go up to the next floor. This is the exact scenario that people go through multiple times every single day. You wake up and you have a decision to make. Whether you jump on your phone and start scrolling social media, or if you get up out of bed and start doing the hard work. A lot of people will go into that first apartment, that apartment that's not theirs, and they will operate like their lower selves because it's easier. And they will get on their phone. People will have a big decision to make, whether they should maybe invest in themselves or if they should spend that money on more fast food. And they'll do more fast food because it's easier and comfortable. But you are not stuck in that lower apartment, that first apartment. You can step out of that room. A lot of the times we get into this victim mindset where we're like, of course this happens to me. Something bad happens to us and we think to ourselves, yeah, of course this happens. Why wouldn't it happen to me? I'm so unlucky. But when something good happens to us, let's say we get very lucky or we have a good month, we think, wow, that was lucky. I can't believe that happened to me. When stuff good happens to us, we instantly think that it's luck, where if something bad happens to us, we think that it is life, that of course it happens to us. When we think like that, that's because we are sitting in our lower apartment, that apartment that is not ours. When you can change your mindset to operate like your higher self, then you understand that good stuff happens to me. That's who I am. I set myself up so that good stuff can happen to me. And when bad stuff happens, that's what's out of the ordinary because of the actions that you are taking. When I made the decision to build out and start doing Elevate, it was something I went back and forth with for a long time. I was in a very comfortable spot. I was making plenty of money. And creating Elevate would be a lot of work, a lot of hardship, a lot of risk. Why would I want to undergo that risk? But that fear, that thinking of, this probably isn't going to work out, I'm not built for this, that is me thinking like my lower self. I instead have to step into that higher version of myself, the best version of myself, and think, this is going to work out because I'm going to make sure that it does. This not working out would be out of the ordinary for me, and it's not going to happen. And that's how you have to think about every single decision in your life. I challenge you to make a choice to live like your higher self today. Whenever you get in those moments where you're doing things that you're not very proud of, where you're slacking off, I challenge you to step out of that apartment and go up a few floors to your higher self and think, what would my higher self do in this situation? What would the best version of myself do in this situation? And do that instead. You don't have to be stuck in that lower apartment. You can go to the apartment that you love a little bit more. Now, this is just a crazy analogy. It's a little bit more in depth for some of you who might be starting off. Some of these other videos might be better for you. But this analogy, it's a really good tool that you can keep in your back pocket to think about whenever you have a hard decision to make, and think about what the best version of yourself would do and if you're sitting in that lower apartment. So I hope it helps some of you out. If you're one of the people, like I was for a very long time, who feels like you are stuck bouncing between the two floors, between the lower apartment and the higher apartment, and don't even know what keeps pulling you back down to that lower one, then I have a free quiz that I built out that I wish I had when I was kind of starting off. I'll put it in the link to the description of this video. It literally takes like 60 seconds. Give it a try. It'll give you a lot more clarity on what's holding you back and how to move forward with more clarity and purpose. So links in the description. Again, this is kind of a more in-depth one for a lot of you, kind of a higher level one, but I hope you enjoyed it. Nonetheless, hopefully it's a good tool for you heading into this next week. With that said, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.